Indian real estate sector is in trouble. Home sales are plunging, inventories are skyrocketing, and the distress is sending stock prices falling. All this even as the government is in the process of introducing new regulations that promise greater transparency and accountability into the sector. There is a promise of the real estate regulator as well. I'm joined by Navin Raheja, Chairman and Managing Director of Raheja Developers, to give us a sense of what's happening in the real estate market. My colleague Sunanda Jaisin is also standing by to give us a sense of how things stand on the ground. Sunanda, what do we know?
Harsha, let me start with the pan-India picture first up. And Knight Frank in its latest report is saying that launches have jumped 40%, but sales have jumped only 20%, leading, of course, to a mismatch. That's having an impact on prices. For example, we've seen an early report from Ambit which says it expects prices to crash by nearly 50% in Mumbai, and prices have stagnated. Knight Frank, in fact, is saying that properties over 3 crores have stopped seeing any demand. What's really happening in terms of a city-specific picture, 7 lakh unsold homes across the country is where it's at right now, of which Delhi has about 2 lakh unsold homes. Mumbai, for example, Knight Frank says it could take 3 years to clear the unsold dues. And if you look at the Mumbai metropolitan region or the MMR, it could take up to 5 years, in fact, to clear all the unsold dues. Mumbai, in fact, has seen the worst performance in the first half of 2015 compared with the global financial crisis. Going ahead, it's not likely to get any easier because Knight Frank is saying that H2 could also see soft consumer interest.
Okay, thank you for that, Sunanda. Well, that sets the context for this conversation. Navin Raheja joins us on this conversation. Mr. Raheja, thank you so much indeed for joining us. What's your assessment of demand in the Mumbai market, both residential and commercial? What are the pain points?
See, this is very, very clear that India has a large population and everybody is growing also. The only problem is today there is so much of confusion which has gone around in the market. There are statements coming from all around about piled inventories, about prices getting corrected, and I mean, all different viewpoints are coming and consumers are totally confused. The people who used to invest for the purpose of speculation, they are all stuck up because of this confusion, the actual user is not coming forward. He is just hoping probably the prices will correct further. So it is only, I think, a very long time has already gone into it since last 2 years almost now. People don't know whether prices will go down further. But on the other hand, if you look at it from developers' perspective, I don't think there is any chance of further correction because developers are offering these inventories to maintain their cash flows. They are offering these inventories at almost the cost price, and in certain cases maybe even below that. So expecting anything more than that, I think, is not going to help. And definitely such a large population I've seen in last 30 years. These kind of periods do come in real estate. These cycles do come, but they bounce back, and they bounce back with the much faster appreciation and much more correction.
Okay,
but this time certainly there is a little longer time, and I'm very sure in coming few months the things will change.
Okay, I take your point, sir, about the confusion. I take your point entirely. But what's your reading then of end user demand? Are you seeing signs of recovery? Is demand latent? Is this about pricing? Do you expect if prices to fall, let's say another 5-10%, do you expect demand to come back? Could you explain that a little more?
Yes, those inventories which are ready and which are located at the points where the user can actually occupy the property, and it is having area infrastructure which is developed, and he has all the facilities. Those properties are not affected. These properties are getting purchased by actual users now. Of course, the investors are not coming forward. And as I look at it, when actually it is the actual user always who drives the demand. Whenever there is a cyclic correction, actual user starts driving the demand, and as the actual user comes forward, the speculators again start and jump into it, So actual users are coming forward. The properties are getting leased also wherever there are facilities and wherever the properties can actually be utilized. So they are there. So
Okay.
I don't see that this is going to be a very long-term problem.
Okay. So what can be the triggers for this market to revive a little more sharply? Would this be about further cuts in interest rates?
Yes. आवाज कट गया.
Okay, Mr. We've lost the audio with Mr. Raheja. We'll try and get back to him in just a moment. But on a separate note, we're also giving you a programming alert at 11:30 a.m. today. Bloomberg TV India will be launching its newest offering, Bloomberg Bottom Line, live from the headquarters on the show. Mini Menon will take viewers right into the heart of the trading action, the dealing rooms of top brokerages of India. That's coming to you at 11:30 with Mini Menon. Don't miss it. On today's show, catch the best market views from Anup Bakshi of ICICI Securities, Abhijit Mitra from Metals and Minings from ICICI Securities, and Shantanu Chakrabarti as well. All that coming up at 11:30 in our new show called Bloomberg Bottom Line, live from the headquarters with Mini Menon. Okay. Mr. Raheja, sorry, I lost that line with you. I was asking you, if a fall in interest rates happen, would that be a reason enough or trigger enough for demand to come back on the table?
Definitely. It is another factor because now it is actual user based. And the home loan is actually availed by the actual user only. And as soon as the correction takes place on the interest rates, the EMI will fall. And as the EMI falls, it makes sense that even if the property is self-occupied or whether it is leased out further, as the gap between the EMI and the rental income decreases, the demand triggers. So we feel that if the interest rates fall, it is definitely going to help, number one. Number two, I think there are other issues also which are related to tax exemptions. If some incentives are given to the buyers and more exemptions are given to the buyers to enable to buy a property,
sure,
then these all things can happen. Now latest, one very beautiful thing has happened in the Indian market. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana has been launched.
Right.
Now this actually is going to be a game changer, provided things get implemented and people are also made aware of this total scheme.
Right.
And bankers and people, they all work for it, Under this there is already 6.5% interest subvention.
Right.
So effective rate of interest is just 3.5%. And that is much lower than the number one inflation rate.
Right.
And number two, it is much lower than the rental income which will accrue from the property.
Right.
So if the enough education and enough knowledge is given to the people and developers come forward, about 70% demand is in this segment, which is EWS and LIG.
Right.
And I think now state governments do need to wail out such schemes
Right.
for smaller units where these inventories can be created and given to the common man.
Right.
This will really bring about a sea change in the real estate market scenario in the country.
Okay.
And I think the results should start coming in maybe another three months or so.
Okay. Mr. Raheja, I believe we've run out of time. Many thanks indeed for joining us with your perspective. That's a view from a builder that we're, of course, going to be continuing our series called Towers of Trouble to talking about the challenges in the real estate industry, falling demand, and unsold inventory. Out of time on the show for now. Thank you so much for watching.